Well, our next guests were massive stars of the 90s music scene, and they're still going strong. They are the Fun Lovin Criminals. They're back with a brand new album, Another Mimosa. I mean, why not? It's nearly 9 o'clock. And they're heading out on tour as well. Let's take a listen to some of their biggest hits to date.
Stick 'em up, Park, it's the Fun Lovin Criminals. Stick 'em up, Park, it's the Fun Lovin Criminals.
Well, I'm pleased to see Huey, Brian and Frank from the Fun Lovin Criminals are in the studio with us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up?
I mean, it's not very rock and roll, is it, having to get up before 9 a.m?
Well, what makes you think we went to sleep?
Oh, there we go. That's the Fun Lovin Criminals we know and love. So tell us, Huey, about the new album, Another Mimosa.
Well, we got an idea in our heads that we wanted to make some more original music. And when we did our first Mimosa record was right after we'd done our first 2 records. And we produce all our own music. So for us to kind of recenter or recalibrate the machine, we decided to take a couple cover songs that we really love, you know, all 3 of us. Your mom actually picked one. And just kind of concentrate on producing those and then get our chops up for the next record. So this is kind of like the record before the record.
Oh, so there's another one in the pipeline.
There's another one coming, yeah.
So for some of our younger viewers who might not have got you when you first came, I mean, how would you describe the kind of the Fun Lovin Criminals sound? Because I remember when the first album came out, I mean, it hit you like a kick to the stomach. It was so different. There was some hip hop in there was some jazz, there was a bit of rock. I mean, it crossed a number of genres.
Yeah. A lot of sounds from New York City, you know, all the music we heard growing up in New York, you know, on the same block you could hear rock and roll next to Latin music, reggae, and that's just what we sort of infused.
And we figured we didn't know if we wanted a career in the music business, so we figured let's just do what we know and what we can do and be honest about it, and if that works, great. And next thing we know, it worked, and here we are.
We've always done that. We don't follow the trend. Fun Lovin Criminals, we do what we do.
Yeah.
You like it, great. You don't like it, great. You know, that's how we roll.
It's quite interesting because we were talking during the break there about this tour that you've just started. You had your opening night up in Birmingham, and how touring has changed in years. You're calling it the Gentleman's Tour now.
Gentleman's touring, yeah. We just go out weekends. Well, that's when you want to party anyway. No one wants to party on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Apart from people at Sky, I've been told. But,
Mentioning no names.
Well, just on that, I mean, it's confession time. I mean, you know, your music provided the soundtrack to at least a couple of years of me getting pretty wasted. And you guys were known back then as Hellraisers.
Here, so you could continue in that vein.
But this is the thing. I mean, you were known as Hellraisers back then. I suspect you kind of maybe missed those days, but you know, occasionally relive them.
We were very fortunate in the regard that we came up, as they say, before the advent of social media and before everybody having a camera phone. So a lot of things, you know, when you said confessions, I kind of bristled a little bit because I know nothing, no one has anything on videotape. But that kind of thing allowed us to kind of not get away with stuff, but do stuff without everybody watching. And you see the younger musicians coming up now that everybody's watching their every move, and you can see that they don't want to put a foot wrong, because if they do, they kind of get canceled, they call it. So we were lucky in the respect that we could sow wild oats and have fun and not have it be so, you know, ridiculed.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because Brian, going to a gig now is a different experience, and you mentioned social media there. Do you find that there's a lot of that going on? A lot of phones recording you rather than actually
not so much at
enjoying
our
the
show.
experience?
Yeah, not so much at our show. I mean,
They're doing a lot more of this.
Yeah.
Than they are at that.
Well, it might be a generational thing. I do see people video things a lot, but I don't see people watching them back after the fact.
Yeah.
No one says, hey, watch this entire concert I went to yesterday on my phone. That doesn't happen too often. So
people come to your gigs and enjoy the experience rather than
I'd like to
filming
hope so.
it.
Yeah.
And the single, Daylight, Rowetta, of course, you know, from the Happy Mondays. I mean, tell us a bit about the recording of this.
I'd known Rowetta for quite some time, and when we got Daylight going, we thought, well, it needs a strong, husky female voice to help the chorus line. So we asked Rowetta, and she's an absolute sweetheart, so she jumped straight on it, and I'm hoping, we've got some shows coming up, Manchester's coming up, and she's the Queen of Manchester. So fingers crossed, she might make a guest appearance.
Yeah, just looking at some of the places you're going to. You mentioned Manchester there. There's Southampton, Prague, Berlin, Copenhagen, and Hamburg as well.
Yeah.
So you're going across to Europe.
Yeah, we like mid-century Scandi furniture, so we always make it. What?
You've changed.
Gentleman's tour.
Gentleman's stories.
over here. Oh, no, but yeah.
Do you find, how do you find the audiences in Europe differ to the UK?
A lot of times we play in the UK often enough to see people 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
You know, and when we
So
go
you
into
see
Europe,
regular faces.
in Europe it's usually like once a year kind of thing. So they really save it up, you know, and that's always great where you could go someplace you haven't been in a year or 2, and the people are really excited to see you, and it makes for us a really great. You know, experience to play music.
It is lovely to go back around, and we just played Glasgow Barrowlands, and we didn't know they gave us a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame award because we'd sold out. We've done it about 18 times, and they come on and gave us this award. It was lovely to see everybody rejoicing in that, you know.
And there were a couple confused millennials like, who are these guys?
Just behind you, that is a very subtle cue from my director that we're running over and we need to go to the way there. Huey, Brian and Frank, thank you so much.